Welcome, everyone. This is your girl, Coach Tanya. I just want to say thank you so much for joining me for the Creating a Better You Dating Again workshop. So today's workshop is about you. How can I say this? You learning the skill set that is necessary after ending and being in a toxic relationship. And the reason why I say skill set necessary, and I'm just going to briefly talk about this before I introduce myself for those of you who don't know me, but what I mean by skill set is that when you are in a toxic environment, there are certain personality traits or parts of you that you begin to pick up on. And from that, you have, how can I say this? You've just developed a personality, a set of belief systems, and a way of doing things that are totally different from how it should be if you're in a regular, healthy relationship that breaks up. For example, I was in a very toxic marriage. I got to the point where I was so distrusting of him that I would record our conversations just to later prove to him something that he will later claim and say he didn't say to prove to him. I got to that point to where that particular thought process of me is not trusting of him. It carried over to my relationships with other people, which was not healthy at all. So when you date a narcissist, for example, that's what mine was, or anybody toxic, you have systems that you create in order to survive through the relationship. It's survival skills, emotional relationship survival skills is what I call it. And those skill sets, when you leave that relationship, you have to learn to get away from them. And it all is a part of a process. So that's that. And I just want to say thank you again for joining me. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Tanya K. Austin, better known as Coach Tanya. I'm the founder of the Trauma Recovery Room. And a little bit of background about myself and where the Trauma Recovery Room came from is I grew up in a very toxic household. My mother and father were very emotionally distant from me, totally abandoned me pretty much. Emotionally, financially we're fine, but physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, it was very toxic, very broken. I grew up believing that those belief systems about myself, which was I wasn't worthy of love, or I didn't deserve things that came easy to me, or I had to work hard for things, or just low self-esteem, insecurity, not having a strong attachment bond with my parents taught me those conditioned behaviors, again, skill sets. It taught me those conditioned behaviors, and it led me to believe that those things were okay. And since I grew up believing that they were okay, entering into adulthood, they became normal. I remember the first time I was called a bitch, and it blew my mind, but the way I handled it was not accepted amongst my peers. So at that moment, to fit in, I knew that was okay, even though it wasn't. But it was subconsciously not okay, but unconsciously acceptable because my mother used to call me a little black bitch, to be exact. But anyway, those things are conditioned into our minds and in our mindsets, and we grow to think that they're okay. And that's exactly what I did. So ultimately, as I look back over the last 25, 26 years, all of my relationships have been toxic. Every last one of them. They weren't all physically abusive, but they were all showing some form of toxicity, which was energetically being pulled out of me because that was the belief system that I had inside. And those were the feelings that I were thinking, that it was okay to accept this particular type of relationship, or okay to accept that particular type of relationship. And in fact, it was not. So in my journey of trying to survive in my narcissistically abusive relationship, I went on a hunt to figure out what the hell was wrong with this man. Like, the man was it was ridiculous. And dealing with a narcissist is very different from just dealing with somebody that's just normal, healthy minded, just a cheater, for example. So narcissist, you're dealing with someone with a mental illness that's cheating, or someone with the mental illness that's choking you, or calling you out your name. So it's a bit challenging, but because I went through that, I was able to look back and see, and all of the things that we're going to talk about today, I actually went through that process, and it definitely got me to a place to where seeing abuse with other people just disturbs me. And looking back at the things that I've experienced, like I say, all of my relationships were toxic. Some type of abuse was partaken in each relationship. But again, that last relationship just pretty much woke me up. So the trauma recovery room came out of me trying to fix him and understanding narcissism and understanding, because my original intent was to keep the marriage. It actually was to keep the marriage. But when it got to the point where he just thought that me wanting to fix the marriage meant I loved his ass that much that he could just keep on doing what the fuck he wanted to do because I loved him that much. And when I realized that, that was enough for me. So anyway, breaking up from that relationship, however, is where I get the idea to do this particular workshop today. Because I finally reached a point after 6 months, pretty much, of going through these 5 things that I'm going to talk about with you today. I believe now that in my heart that I am ready, not completely just delve into a full-blown relationship, but I'm definitely ready to, and that doesn't even have to be today or tomorrow or the next week or 2. It could be 2-3 months from now. But in my mind, I'm ready to be open to starting a new relationship. Whereas before, it definitely was not crossing my mind path at all. But so today, we're going to be talking about 5 things that you must go through before you can begin to start physically dating. Well, it's actually 4 things, because the 5th thing would actually be physically dating. But anyway, there are 5 steps to the process. Because again, after a toxic relationship, your entire mindset can be traumatized, like PTSD traumatized. It could be on that level. But that's only when you let it get that far. And you continue to allow it to control your mind, because that's what post-traumatic stress disorder is. It's a disorder that's in your mind that you're stressing about after the fact. It's a distress in your mind that you're stressing about after the fact. There are some things that were just too much for you to bear, that your mind cannot handle it. And that's what the PTSD. So, but again, if you let it get that far, it will continue to keep controlling you. And then your mind, being your biggest weapon to fight against the woes in your life, becomes your biggest enemy, because now it is going against you, so to speak, because your mind is your power tool. That's your superpower. It is what separates us from other beings, the way we handle things. And it is definitely what separates us from other creatures that God put on this earth. So whatever happens, when it's over, you still think about it. When you're traumatized, no matter what happens, you still hold on to it. And that is because it's controlling your mind. And the mind is a terrible thing to waste. It is also a terrible thing to use against yourself. And again, when you get to the place where dating after a toxic relationship is in your heart and in your mind, not out of a fear or feeling that you'll never, or desperation. It's not from that, but it's in the mind that you've come to peace with everything that happened to you in the past and you're ready to move forward. So dating after a toxic relationship can be tricky though, but it is possible to do and to do successfully. So that toxic person was not for you to create that better version of yourself, but breaking up with them was. So embrace and enjoy it. And I definitely hope that you have your pen and paper, because we're going to dig right into these 5 things that must be in place before you can physically manifest being in the presence on an intimate level with somebody else. Now, these steps a lot of people overlook. Oftentimes, people, when they get out of one relationship, they jump into another one. And we're going to talk about some of that today in this particular webinar, because it has something to do with what we're going to be talking about. So it probably, more than likely, will come up. So here's the thing. When you jump from relationship to relationship, that means that you're running from something. And if you're running from something, then that means there's something in your mind that you are trying to escape from that's so scary or so deep that you either don't know how to or you just don't want to, for whatever your reasons are. So going from relationship to relationship, you don't have time to take and soak in the lessons or experiences that you learned from the previous relationship, which ultimately creates further damage on your psyche later, because now you're adding on more relationships issues. So you may have 3-4 people that you need to grieve over. You're dating the 4th person. It's been 2 years. You keep breaking up and getting, that doesn't make sense. That means that you're running from something and that you're hiding something. And that's actually another course that you would definitely want to embrace in. And this is not the only course that I offer. I have multiple courses if you're interested in finding out what they are, because I definitely am a mindset coach, a struggle strategist, where I help people to overcome the struggles that they have in their mind based off of some traumatic experiences that implanted negative thoughts into their head and give them false sense of beliefs about themselves. So I help you to shift that mindset so that you can believe more of the true reflection of who you are and tap into your superpowers and walk in your purpose. So as a mindset coach, I do know that it's very important that we understand processes of things and we understand how things originate. If we can unfold how things originate, we can pretty much figure out the process that you have developed along the way that works for you. So these 5 things that you need in order for you to start dating again after a toxic relationship will definitely get you together and in order, and definitely prepare you for next time having a healthy relationship that you're going to enter into. So the first thing is, and I'm just going to read all 5 of them briefly, and then I'll double back and then go back and talk about them. So the first thing is, you definitely have to have ended the relationship with the abuser. That's number 1. Or the narcissist or whatever. So starting something new before something ends is not only bad karma, but it's dangerous. So take the steps necessary to leave the person. And I actually have a course that's called Scared to Leave Your Abuser. And it teaches you how to prepare to literally prepare to leave your abuser. So number 2, take time to yourself to heal from the pain of your past that caused you or attracted you to the toxic person in the first place. What do I mean by that? So don't go to why you dated them. I mean, don't go to being mad at them and hurt and pained at them. Go deeper. Go to the unconscious level. That's the conscious level thinking. You're angry at them for treating you the way that they treated you. And granted, they may have done something bold or scandalous, because trust me, I get it. Mine did the most awful and treacherous things to me that I could never imagine being done to me, considering how I felt about him and how I treated him. It just wasn't equal. But definitely blaming him was me at the conscious level. But when I started digging deep, because again, on my venture to fix him, I actually fixed myself. So on my venture fixing him, pointing the finger at him, I started seeing the other four fingers that were at me. And I had to dig deep and understand why I let this man even in my life, knowing that he was who he was. So number 2, in the relationship with the abuser or the toxic person, the narcissist. Number 2, take time to yourself to heal from the pain of the past that caused you to accept them into your life. Then number 3 is take the time to yourself to heal from the toxic relationship or the abuse that you endured during the relationship. Then, so after you deal with them out of your life, especially with a narcissist, it's definitely hard to get over a narcissist when they're in your life. It's way much easier when you are not around them, because you can focus and your energy is reserved. They're not sucking it, because narcissists are definitely energy vampires. They will suck the fucking energy. They will suck the soul out of you. Literally. They want to suck the soul out of you. They want to control your mind. And an abuser, period, but the narcissist in particular wants to control your mind so bad because they know that their minds are so damaged that if they have another damaged mind that they control, they'll always have that control because you'll never get out of it. So number 1, ending the relationship with them. 2, taking the time from what caused you to even accept them. And then taking the time to heal from the relationship trauma that they caused. Number 4, date yourself. Discover who you are and all the things you would do with first meeting you. Do them to yourself. So this period prepares you for dating for when it actually comes to you. So this is where you invest in yourself and you show yourself love and you find out your likes and dislikes and you do the things that you like to do with yourself. Do them with yourself. Because if you could take yourself out on a date and you have fun with yourself, then imagine somebody else sharing that space and that energy with you. And that positive energy, you'll definitely be putting into the universe for it to manifest back into you in the physical form. And number 5, softly practice. What is softly practice? That's just talking to people. You don't have to necessarily go out on dates, but somebody wants your phone number, give it to them. Talk to them. Somebody likes you or winks at you on Facebook or something. Then, wink back and flirt. Just dabble with it. You don't have to full-fledged go out and physically be with someone, but definitely entertain the thought. Definitely entertain some parts of it. Try social media. And with COVID going on, it kind of makes it, actually with COVID going on, it makes it easier because now you can practice all of the stuff that you're doing. And then if you're virtually, dating somebody, then it won't be so harsh. And then when you do actually meet them, if it goes that far, then, you guys will have passed certain parts of just dating somebody like over the phone, for example. So how do you do each one of these? What does it take? What are you required to do for each one of these to actually manifest into existence and actually work? So what do you think you need to do when it comes to step number one. Because step number one, remember, is making sure that you're actually out of the relationship with the narcissist. Okay? Step number one is making sure you are actually out of the relationship with the narcissist. Okay? So taking the steps to physically get out of the relationship, whatever that may be, planning, doing whatever it is that needs to be done to get out of the relationship, planning, saving your money, looking for a new place, whatever it is that's required for you to remove yourself from that relationship on a physical level, then that's what it is that you're going to need to do. And again, I do have another course that's called Scared to Leave Your Abuser. And it probably would be something that you would be interested in. If you are interested, then definitely drop your email down and say interested. And then I will send you the link and the information for you to get started on that course as well. But this course and that course definitely together complement each other. I should actually put them in a package together. But anyway, take the steps to get out of that relationship. So what do you need to do to get out of that? To physically remove yourself from that relationship. That's the goal. You want to physically remove yourself from the relationship. So how can you do that? Sit back, think of ways that you can physically manifest being away from them. And I can give you a hint. It first starts in your mind. Those things that we experience physically first started in the mind. And again, our thoughts create our reality. Therefore, whatever it is that we think is going to happen to us, whatever it is that we think should happen to us, whatever it is that we think better happen to us, or whatever, that is what we create in our lives. That is what we manifest, because we create our lives through our thoughts. So steps 2 and 3 are related to healing, but on 2 different levels. Number 2, taking the time to heal from past pain. This is most important because it helps you to understand your reasons why you've done what you've done, or why things have happened to you in your life. And it will guide you to figuring out your what. What is everything all about? And then it will also instruct you on your why in your situation. So why are these things happening? What do I need to learn? What have I done in the past that's different or the same? And why am I going through this again? Why am I repeating this? Taking this time to heal from your past pain discovers, it leads you to, it unveils, it peels back the layers of whatever it is that's going on in your unconscious mind that your subconscious mind has been trying to tell you. Now, there are 4 levels to the mind. 3 that we always talk about. The 4th one many don't even mention because they don't even attempt to or even believe that this even exists. But there's the unconscious mind, which is, let me start from the top. There's the conscious mind. So imagine an iceberg on water, and only the tip of it is out. That would be your conscious mind. That's the part that you see, that's the here and the now, and the part that's obvious physically, on a physical form. You can touch it and you can see it with your eyes. You can smell it. So it's that part that you show of yourself, that you show of. The subconscious mind is just below that. That's the soul. The subconscious mind is the soul. It is where our true nature self relies. The soul that's within the body is the subconscious mind. It is telling you about how to have thoughts and how to behave And it's all based off of your past experiences. So you learn how to behave a certain way because of some experiences. And it's innate because you know that being good is just natural. Consciously, you know that being bad or good, it doesn't matter because you're going to be punished either there or not. You take a chance type thing. And then unconscious thinking, that is where you hold your basis or your core essence of why you do what you do, what you do, why are you doing this, why do you continue to accept toxic partners. For me, getting into the unconscious mind, I discovered that being molested, I didn't feel protected as a kid. I didn't feel as if I was loved. Being emotionally abandoned, I didn't feel appreciated or valued. I wasn't validated. I wasn't affirmed. I wasn't loved. There was no affection. So I just didn't think that I was worthy of it. Honestly, at the end of the day, and it blows my mind that I even thought that, but it was how I felt, and that was all unconscious. Of course, I'm walking around diva fabulous. You can't tell me nothing. I got it together. But that wasn't true. The truth was I was very insecure, very jealous, very unaware of who I was, and very lonely and scared and fearful. And in that place, I actually found myself. So, it works out. It works out. But taking the time to heal from what I was dealing with in my childhood allowed me to understand why I chose this man and why energetically we were brought together and why I had to go through what it is that I went through. So from that healing, I was able to see things clearly. I was able to develop a relationship with myself and Source, God, the universe. I was able to be free to explore who I am and what it is that I like without fear. And from that healing, I let go of a lot of things that no longer serve me. One being a toxic job, two being other toxic people in my life, and three, getting the toxicity, which was most important, out of myself. So getting that toxicity out of myself, I also was able to do because during the healing process of going through the inner child healing, which is where you are put back into that sore place of pain, and you actually go in and you rewrite the story on. You can't change the situation or the event that happened, but you can rewrite the response to it, and you can retell yourself different things. And from that, you're able to condition your mind to believe other things about you. So I did my inner child healing on myself, and I actually do have inner child healing services that I provide for you. So it's not like hypnosis, but it does put you in a deep meditative state to where you are visualizing what happened to you in the past, and you're erasing those parts of the vision that you don't like, that hurt your feelings, and you're going to put parts in that make everything better and make you see yourself better. Because once you have that vision in your head, then it can become a reality. And we start going back to the inner child and where the source of pain took place. So, in that place, that's where you give the little child all the love and the affection and attention that they need in order for them to draw the pain from the experience out of them and replace it with love, and to heal from what's deep down in the unconscious mind is very freeing, because when you release the old ways and the old belief systems and the generational curses, and you let go of those things, and you just release it all from you, you change instantly, because now you have elevated to the next dimension. You don't want to go back. you don't want to go back. And when you move forward in life, you can't go back. So you definitely don't want to heal from toxic relationships and then go back to that person again, unless they've completely changed, which most narcissists or abusive people don't, unless they just definitely hit rock bottom and they don't have a choice. But other than that, they'll typically move on to the next relationship, so where they don't have to deal with their pain and they could just cover it up and continue to be jerks and assholes and hurt people. But anyway, so with that inner child healing, it put me back into that place where I was sore and I was pained. And it allowed me to rewrite my story. And that's what the inner child healing does. Then I use shadow work, where you go and you dig deep inside and you peel back the dark layers of your hurt or the dark layers of your shame or your guilt. And you put a light and shine that light on them so that you can allow the cognitive behavior therapy, which is another technique that I use in healing from your past pain. You allow the cognitive behavioral therapy to get you to actively involve in your healing process. So the cognitive behavioral therapy literally helps you to retrain your thinking inside your head so that it can go from being good to bad. But that thinking, usually with trauma, is bad. So the cognitive behavioral therapy retrains those bad thoughts and make them into good thoughts, which is similar to the inner child healing too. So those old, tired, fearful thoughts that you've had before, the CBT or the cognitive behavioral therapy mixed with the inner child healing and the shadow work definitely takes that demise away. And, it recreates your ability to think differently, to feel differently, to behave differently. Because the process of how we get our behaviors, it stems from an event that took place where we establish a thought about that event. And from that thought, we got an emotion. And from that emotion, behaviors are created. So the behaviors that you exemplify are definitely based off of an event that happened to you in the past. So if you can learn to heal from whatever that event was, you can't, of course, change the event, but you can change the way you think about it. You can change your thoughts about it. And by changing your thoughts, you can change the way you feel about it. And if you change the way you feel about it, then you'll change the behavior that you have when that particular event or something that reminds you of that same thought or that same emotion, your behavior would change because you will have gained control over your mind. And healing from that past pain from your childhood or the pain that led you to be with them is definitely key in order for you to do number 3, which is heal from the pain that they caused. You cannot heal from the pain that they caused you if you don't heal from the ultimate pain. Because when you heal from the ultimate pain and the source of the pain, you understand that they were just a conduit used to draw that out of you. And when you get to this point where you see them not as your enemy or not as somebody that hurt you, but somebody that was created, that manifested in your life because you had these negative thoughts about yourself, then you can begin to free yourself from the chokehold of the anger that you definitely will have with them. So because they were wrong to you, they didn't treat you right, it hurt you. And yes, you're mad as hell, especially if you love them. But when you heal from your past pain, it makes it easier for you to heal from the pain that they caused. Because again, you remove the emotional aspect of it and you start looking at it from a logical and a spiritual and a higher realm belief system. So you know that you energetically pulled them into your life. You know that you energetically attracted them into your life. And you know that you made the decision to choose them in your life because of the way that you think about certain things about yourself or relationships, and the way you feel about those relationships. It led you to that same repetitive behavior. Again, event thought, emotion, behavior. So meeting somebody that called you beautiful gave you the who tingles, which let you felt love, because those who tingles you didn't feel as a kid. So who tingles must be good. No, that's not the all goal. Because as a narcissist, trust and believe, they've studied you before they were able to get you to that point of, oh my God, where have you been all my life? They study you. They listen very carefully to see how they can implement things that will get you to see them a different way. And if you see them a different way, you'll believe in your head that that's love that you're identifying. But it's just them playing with your mind. It's just them playing with your mind. But again, if you heal from the original source of pain, then when you choose to heal from the pain that they caused you, you'll know that the process was necessary. It's all in divine order, that they served a purpose. They served a purpose, and they were just a conduit. They were just a conduit used that you created, you manifested through your thoughts and your feelings. And you chose because of whatever it is that was going on. And the behavior was choosing them. So for me, I had to definitely recognize red flags. And I actually have a video about that. If you're interested in that, let me know. I had to set some boundaries. I have a video for that as well. But in identifying those things that I didn't recognize before, or I did recognize, but I ignored them because of my issues with myself, or my negative thinking, or my unconscious unhealthy thinking, my unhealthy unconscious thinking, not knowing that I was accepting all of these things for that reason. But now I'm consciously aware, subconsciously aware. And that fourth mindset is the superconscious. And I'm also super conscious. That's when you have that God-like thought process. And you know for a fact that this is not what God created. It's not what you agreed upon when coming into this earth, and you are not accepting it. And you are going to eliminate it and allow God to replace what is supposed to be there. And you're going to walk in your true form and purpose. That's the superconscious. So when you get to the point of getting over your past pain and healing the unconscious mind, your conscious mind, and as that iceberg, that unconscious mind is the deep part. So you got the conscious mind is the part that's sticking up, the part that everybody sees, that mask. Then you have the subconscious, which is right below that. So it bounces up and down. So that subconscious you pops out, goes back down. Then you have the unconscious, which are the deep layers, which you typically don't even know that it's down there until something runs into it and crashes it. And that relationship that I had, that marriage that I had, crashed my unconscious mind, and it woke me up. And that's what it could do for you if you learn to allow the purpose again. And in healing from that pain, learn the purpose of them being in your life, and learn that you don't have to be angry at them, because being angry at them is still giving them power. And you don't want to do that. Being angry with them is pointless. And in fact, it keeps you producing them energetically in your life. So even being angry with them, you're still putting energy with them in your life. And that's why they keep calling your phone. That's why they can't leave you alone, because you energetically keep inserting into the universe for them to be in your life. But if you can get past your past pain, and you can begin to tap into the parts of you, because in healing from the pain that they cause, you definitely have to forgive yourself. You have to forgive yourself, because you have to forgive yourself for choosing them and allowing them to do it. And especially if the relationship is for a long, expanded time. Like, I literally had to forgive myself for allowing this man to do this to me for 2.5 years. I literally did. And it's funny, our 3-year quote unquote anniversary was just a few days ago. And that was the last day he called my voicemail and left a stupid ass message. I just happened to check it. I didn't know it was him because he called from another phone. But anyway. And I absolutely looked like three. Dang, it's 3. I didn't even realize when I checked it like 3 or 4 days later, and I looked at the date like, dang, our anniversary, 3 years, and I said, It started off one way, ended that way. It was full circle. That was it. I have no more energy for this man. Period. And not that I was giving him any before that, but at that moment, I realized that I was healed from even the pain that he caused. I was no longer attached to him at all. So he was no longer a part of my thought process where I felt guilty because he would still come to my porch and knock. It's 11 o'clock at night, spend the night on the porch. I don't care. Do what you need to do. Just get away from me. Because eventually I'll teach him something new. Well, eventually I did teach him something new. Don't fuck with me. Leave me alone. Period. It's over. And because I got to that point, I also knew that I was able to move forward. At that point, it's time for me to move on. Not that I was still dwelling on him on an intimate or relationship level, but even still having him in my thoughts, no, not good. So now I know that if I could sit there and not have that same level of compassion on him that I once had before, same situation, same problems, I knew that it was definitely a notification, ding, 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 ding within me to let me know that it's time to move forward and that I'm ready. So if you continue to give them any type of energy at all, the universe will reflect that by continuously having them pop up in your life some kind of way. And even if not them, somebody else. I call it repeat dating. You'll end up dating somebody else that's them because they were somebody else. It'll continue to be a cycle until you get past that. But if you don't heal from the pain that originally caused you to choose them, then you're never going to be able to forgive yourself and you're never going to be able to heal from the pain that they caused. But definitely healing from that pain that they caused becomes easier when you heal from your past pain, and then you can start adding 2 and 2 together and start seeing energetically or universally or God's plan or God's will that it's all in alignment. It's all in alignment, and you no longer have that bitterness towards them because you see them as a conduit. That's all. They personally were just a conduit. That's it. They were the source or the resource that the universe presented through your own manifestation. Because remember, your thoughts were telling you didn't deserve a good person or a good mate. Your belief systems told you those things, and that's the energy that you put out there, which is why it came back to you. Number 4 is date yourself. Oh my God. When I first separated from mine, I tried to date myself, and I know I took myself on my first date. I spent a nice little amount of money on myself too. First of all, I was pissed that I bought some lobster and that shit was $25, and I literally it wasn't big. It wasn't worth $25. And that was my first. I've had crab legs, but I've never tried lobster before, so I wanted to see what the big deal was. It wasn't worth $25, please. But the experience that I did that, because I wanted to know how to open them and crack them and all that, even though the piece I got it didn't have all of that. But I wanted to know when I go on a date in the future and the guy takes me out, when I order lobster, I want to know how to do it. So I took myself out on my first date. Oh, I got so dressed up and so cute and everything. Do you know I said, and it was a COVID home date, by the way. Movies, football, dinner, whatever. I sat right on the couch. And in about 30 minutes, I was knocked out. Fell asleep on myself. I said, Lord have mercy, I'm boring. And I had to realize and accept that. And even though I was with myself, it was still a matter of fact that I wasn't able to maintain entertainment that kept me woke. So I can imagine. Because I haven't dated in years. I've been married. We were married for 2.5 years. And then before that, I was in a long-term marriage and relationship. So I've never really had to date. And even him and I, we dated a couple of times. But, we went out on a couple of dates, but not really. I've never really dated a man. But anyway, so after that particular time, I just started to get more interested into things that were going on, and the language that was being used, and then I was better able to suit myself. So in dating yourself, this part is so vital because it's setting the script for how you'll be treated by the person that you'll be dating in the future. So if you want your doors open, then you'll have that expectation. If you want your bottles to be opened by somebody else, you'll have that expectation. If you want somebody to nurture you, you'll have that expectation, because you're going to nurture yourself. You're going to do these things for yourself, and you're going to do them as if, and this is the crazy part, you're going to do them if you're going to do them as if the person is actually there with you. So you're going to pretend that you are dating yourself. You're going to pretend like you're dating yourself. You're going to date yourself, and then you're going to pretend like the person that you want to date is you're in a relationship with them. So you're going to start living your life with this person in this relationship. And again, I say COVID is perfect for this, so you won't be actually out physically on a date talking to yourself, but you can do it in your living room with nobody looking. And you literally want to manifest this person into your life. And those will be that's the energy that you'll put out into the universe. That's the message that you'll be telling the universe. You no longer want to deal with the toxic relationships. You want this particular person that makes you laugh, or this particular person that holds your hand when you cry or wipes your tears when you cry. You want this particular person that's going to be your best friend. You want this particular person that's got your back. You're going to live that life with them alongside you. You definitely are. So if you are a man and you want a woman that's a good cook, then you go get you some good meals and you cook them, and you make it seem like your wife cooked it. And you thank you, babe, oh, this food was good. And you thank her and appreciate her. Wives, if you want a man that works and takes care of you, then you do things that you need to do. Take care of yourself and treat yourself the way you want to be treated. So when he comes, he'll know what to expect to do, plus some. So if your level of treatment for yourself is low, how high do you think that a man is going to go? And vice versa for a woman. How high do you think they're going to go if your standard is low? Like, I actually met this guy, a week ago. Actually, a week ago. I actually was kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, it's okay. And he said something to me, and it was like, well, was it hard for me to get to know you? And I'm like, I don't know. It depends on you. I've never heard that question before, but it was actually a good question, though, because it made me realize, ding, 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 that was a red flag. You on bullshit. And definitely it took less than a day for me to figure out he was on some bullshit. And I immediately blocked him and deleted his number on my phone. I don't have time for shenanigans, but going through the past scumballs or the past fuckboys taught me that. It taught me that. So when you date yourself, you learn how to treat yourself. You know what I mean? You learn what to expect, what you like, what you don't like, what you'll accept, what you won't accept. You'll learn how to treat yourself, and then putting that energy into the universe is how it's going to be bounced back to you. And then number 5, you want to softly date. What is that? That's when you just go out there like somebody like the other day, softly dating. He asked for my phone number. I gave it to him. Instead of just saying, no, I'm not interested, I gave it to him. That's softly dating. Social media, flirting online, noticing red flags. That's when you're paying attention. Like I just said, I noticed that guy. It was just some red flags about that. And instantly, energetically, I always ask the universe, let me know, make it clear what their intentions are with me. If they're not good, get them out of my life. And something always happen, and I don't worry about it. Like this particular guy, I was getting geeked up like, okay, he's handsome and tall and chocolate and okay. Too geeked up. And I'll be damned, the universe didn't show me. And I had to step back and recognize that that's exactly what it is. So in the softly dating, this is where you just start off conversing with people. Then it leads to physical dating, then evaluating the situation when things get a little serious between you two, and then you go from there. But again, this is where you practice what you've done in the first 4 steps. So all of the healing that you've done, you can recognize and not take things personal now. Emotionally, you won't be as distraught as you would have been if it were another situation per se, So, sorry, setting my timer. I can't see my time on my phone, so I don't know if my hour's up or not. So I have about 10 more minutes left. You'll be able to see the red flags and notice the dangers and spot those things that, nope, are not going to work for you. And when you get to that point, that's where you can start weeding out those that won't work, or, people that are playing games and, stuff like that. You're more consciously aware, but you're also more unconsciously and subconsciously aware as well of what you like, because now you know what it is. And finding out what you don't like, you definitely find out what you do like. Oh, excuse me, I should say that backwards. I should say that the other way around. And trying to find the things you like, you definitely will ultimately find the things you don't like. And when you find the things you don't like, you're able to weed out bullshit way much better, because it's clear to you. You see those red flags. Like, to me, I'm not even getting to 3 red flags. I just said that because I was saying before, if I see something and I talk to them and they don't change, that's a second, and I say something again and they do it again, I'm not even going that far. I saw that was a red flag. I ain't got time for that. And I'll be damned if I allow myself to repeat any of the same lessons that I've learned. I'm not doing it. So if that was a red flag already and I just met you, I'm good. Because guess what? You're going to come up with a lie. I'm going to believe it, even though I'm not. Because I'm a human, a lie detector test. Like, for real, I'm a human. I could tell when you're lying. But anyway, I'm going to believe it. This is his script. And we're going to go back and forth. Oh, yep, got one. She fell for that. I don't have time for that. And in dating again, that's the key. Again, you have to energetically weed these motherfuckers out. Like, seriously, you have to energetically weed out those that are going to cause you hardship and suffrage in some kind of way. And that's definitely being empowered. That's definitely being knowledgeable and loving on yourself and having self-awareness. Because now you can see that your worth is way more than just dealing with stupid ass bullshit. And you don't have time for it. You definitely don't have time for it. Okay, so that is all I have for today. But I am going to, and you guys, with this particular webinar, you do have a worksheet that is downloaded with you. So I'm going to go through the questions that I have on the worksheet and how important it is for you to answer these questions so that you can get through the 5 steps that I just talked about much easier, and you'll be on a better playing field, and it'll put you in alignment with whatever it is that universe is taking you through. So ask yourself, why did I break up with my ex? What was the reason that you broke up with them? What really truly was? For me, I got tired of him thinking that I was so weak that he could just do whatever the fuck he wanted to. That's why I broke up with him, because he literally had in his mind that he could just do whatever he wanted to do. And because I loved him, it was okay. No. Number 2, looking back at the breakup, was it worth it? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Because I am a much better person now. Ask yourself these questions and feel the emotions as you answer them. Number 3, how can you put a smile on your face when it comes to dating again? Me, I can have the positive perspective that there is a man out here that's equivalent to me, that we will complement each other. We're equivalent to each other. We'll complement each other. And we'll definitely have grace, honor, and peace and love, tranquility, respect, adoration, light with and between each other. It's somebody out here. And I believe that because if God created me, then he had to have had created somebody that's my equal for me to share. It's somebody out here. I don't know where he's at, but hey, he'll come. And I know he's coming because I want him to come. I'm ready for him to come, and he can come. Number 4, do you know the signs of an abuser? I definitely do. I know those red flags. I know that the body language, I read body language very well. And I know that body movements and comments, and I read people the things that they don't say. I hear those things that they don't say. I can hear those things. And that helps me to discern a lot more about that person. Number 5, do you have do's and don'ts in order? Yes, I do. I am going to do more time with myself, and I am not going to I do not want a man that is a liar. So I do want a man that's going to protect me, that's going to be a protector, but I don't want a man that's a liar. So I have my do's and don'ts. And then you're going to go through the other questions. Number 6, what positive thing came from this toxic relationship? Number 7, when you mention the things they did, what emotion most appears? For me, I'm at peace now. I used to get angry, but I'm at peace now. So that's how I know that I've healed and I've grown and I'm okay. Number 8, if it's anger, then you still have some desire to connect with them. Fix it before you move on to another relationship. Number 9, how can your life be better with or without them? And number 10, how does that make you feel? So that is the conclusion of this webinar. But I do want to say answering these questions will allow you to open up your mind, see things from another perspective, and be able to move forward. Because that's objectively what it is that we are ultimately seeking, because you need to celebrate the fact that this person is out of your life. They are out of your life. That is a time to celebrate. This person is gone. That is a treat. That is the universe blessing you. That is you having your freedom to move the way you want to shake the way you want to, and to create the person that you want to present to the next person, and to energetically put out the energy of the next person that you want to come to you. So healing is definitely part of that process. Healing is definitely part of that process, and healing is definitely the key to opening that door of having a successful new relationship. So I hope that you enjoyed this webinar. If you are interested in any of the programs that I talk about, if you want further information about the things that I've talked about, and I didn't mention a program about it, that's fine. I want to urge and challenge you to reach out to me and set up a 45-minute strategy coaching call. It's free for the first time. Go ahead and click on the website that's on this particular live. That'll be on the page. And then when you do that, just go under services and rates. It's the first one that you see. I believe it's a picture of me. I think it is. First one that you see, go ahead, set that appointment. Scroll through the other ones though, because there are some different services that I offer for different type of products or topics. Like today would be relationship dating again. So there would be a coaching session attached to that. But for you to be interested in finding out a little bit more about yourself and the programs that I do and how I can service you, then you definitely want to set up that free 45-minute coaching session, your first tribe strategy call, so we can come up with some strategies on figuring out what's blocking you emotionally and what's keeping you from progressing in your life. So thank you so much for joining me today. It was definitely a pleasure serving you, and I am proud to say that you have made it through a course. So give yourself a round of applause. Yay! And be proud of yourself, knowing that you are moving in the right direction because you have a new focus now. And God is doing so much through you and for you. And because you've taken this step, He is going to shift things in your favor. But you got to change your mindset. You got to change your mindset. And the next relationship that you get in, definitely create a better one so that you can exemplify the better within yourself, because our mates are our mirror image. So if your mate is a good mate the next time, then you know that you've become good and that you are seeing yourself in that mirror as worthy of true love and genuine love. So thank you so much for joining me. This is your girl, Coach Tanya, and I am out. Bye.